Hello, dear friends. Hi to you, to your fur babies. And here it's another fantastic episode of Celebrity Catwalk and also Pet Pics. And I'm really excited. How are you doing, Jen? How is everything?
Bossy, how are you? How was your Memorial Day weekend?
It was a lot of fun. You know, I'm excited. I had the opportunity to rest, and it was so honestly inspirational to see that a lot of our friends had a lot of fun as well. How about you?
I had a good time. I had a good time just relaxing, believe it or not. I did just a little bit of work, not too much work, but just a little bit of work. So it was very good. And which is a perfect segue. You see, I've got we've both got you've got your hat on. I've got my sun visor on, which is the perfect prop, if you will, for today's guest and tonight's chat. So super excited. It's very timely. Technically the first day of summer is not until June 21st, but this is still a really great time to chat about summer and traveling with your fur babies. So I'm very excited that original Paws in the City model, she was with us in 2013, and she just came off the catwalk with us just this past May, literally where are we, the 30th? So literally 10 days ago, 8 days ago, if you want to be technical, she just came off the catwalk for us for May 2023. We have wonderful Leslie Riddle and Puccini, the amazing Yorkie Poo. They are here to talk about traveling. And I don't think a lot of people know this, but Leslie has taken Puccini. Puccini has hit the ocean seas not once, but twice. So this is a really great opportunity for Leslie to talk about traveling, international travel, if you will, vacation travel with your fur baby, and how she navigated forgive my terrible ship puns, but how she navigated the stormy seas of making sure his paperwork was good. So folks, as you come on in, be sure to hit that share button. This is a really great topic about traveling with your fur baby. So Leslie, thank you for being with us. Thank you so much. And please spill the tea, because I'm sure lots of people want to know. Oh, everyone is watching. Hello, Mary. Hello, Athena. Thanks, folks, for watching. Hit that share button as you come on in. Give us the scoop, Leslie and Master P. Please, I'll stop talking and you will fill in on traveling with your fur baby.
Well, as you see, it's his dinner hour. I know Vasi always likes to do it around this hour of the day. So, big boy likes to eat.
Exactly.
And this is a good way to see him in action here.
He's adorable. We know Puccini being fed with a silver spoon. And, I think it's really inspirational, because a lot of people say, oh, you dress your fur babies and etc. Now, friends, you can see our fur babies. It's really like spoiled in a beautiful way.
Yes, he is. And you know what? That's also made it really good when we're traveling, because people just think it's so funny. So, of course, he sits at the cloth tables, the white cloth tables, and people love it. So he's very well behaved and very mannered, and that makes it much better. And as I've told a bunch of my buddies, I'm like, you just have to get your babies trained. Because if you don't get them trained, it's hard to travel with them. And people
sorry to cut you off, Leslie. That's important. I'm sorry. So please, before you even start jumping through the hoops of traveling with your fur baby on a cruise, to a resort, transatlantically, if you will. Please
Right.
talk about can you delve a little more, please, into what qualifies as well-trained in your eyes?
It's so important because on the ship, one of the things people ask me, I think the most is, where does he go to the bathroom? That's my number one question. And I had, when was that? Oh, to Alaska. I had the best, what do you call them? Room attendants or housekeeper or whatever.
The steward or
Yes.
the butler, yes.
He was so great. He brought me a tray and it fit his wee-wee pad just perfectly. And so you could slide it in and out from under the bed, you know, or just leave it there or whatever you wanted to do. So I started training Puccini as soon as I got him. So about 2 weeks after I got him, he knows not to lift his leg on anything. Being a boy, you have to think about that. He only squats on the wee pads. Of course, if he's outside and there's a tree, yes, he's going to go on that tree because he likes to remind himself that he is a boy.
Of course. Interesting.
Anyway, I see some of these pictures that Vasi's chosen. I sent her a million pictures, and some of those that are right there are our Mexico trip. We went to Nueva Vallarta, and the one nice thing about Mexico is you don't have to do so much paperwork. Basically, they just want your rabies vaccines and to know that you've had them.
Okay, so I want to plan a trip to, let's pretend that my fur baby is well trained. I want to my family wants to plan a trip to Mexico. Please, what are the first 3 things I need to do?
To Mexico. Well,
take Mexico. If anyone wants a specific country or has a specific question, I am monitoring the comments and questions. So please, if you have a question for Leslie about her experiences, whether it be to Mexico, whether it be on a cruise ship, let us know and I will field the question for her. But let's take Mexico. I'm going to do Mexico and I'm going to do the cruise. So let's start with Mexico if we can. First 3 things.
Okay. Well, you'll fly into Mexico from the United States. The other countries, they require some other paperwork. So I'm not an expert, I'm going to say that. And as you see today, I had to use my cell phone because my laptop got hacked, which is always great right before a Zoom. And I had all my notes on there. But when you fly into Mexico, you have to go right into the USDA before you even leave. You know what I mean? There's not a
before you leave the airport or the airport grounds, and this is traveling with a pet. If you're traveling with your fur baby, before you even hit the strip, you have to stop at the USDA.
Exactly. And he looks really menacing, but then after he checks the baby, he's really sweet. Those guys and the women there, they're so nice. Then they pet him and, you know, they're like best friends with your dog. And I know they're doing some things now that are going to make it even easier if you're a regular to Mexico, which is great. There's a new program that they're starting up. So that's exciting.
Oh, that is exciting.
Yes. Wow.
So it'll make it less of a hassle if you like to make return trips each year or multiple times during the year. But for Mexico, all you need are your rabies shots.
Okay, so you had your rabies shots before you got on the plane.
Yes.
And you made that stop at the USDA office or facilities, and then you were all set?
Yeah, it was super easy for him.
That's amazing.
And then I went to a resort called Vidante. And Vidante has a couple, 3 locations in Mexico, and they're just beautiful. I think it's got to be the most beautiful place I've ever seen in a resort. And it's also timeshare. So the first time I went just because they were, it was like a regular hotel. But the second time I went with one of the owners of the timeshare. So
Okay.
that was fun.
Lynn is saying it was a pleasure traveling with him to Bermuda. Okay, so the questions are already starting to come in. Any problems with ear popping and the gravity and the temperature and the cabin pressure of the plane with Puccini? And I guess this goes for domestic.
Such a great question.
Travel.
You know what? It's funny. We sometimes chew on gum or, do that to pop your ears or whatever, but they don't have the same problems that a human has. Or you'll also see them sometimes doing that. And I think they're swallowing saliva. So, they just know what to do naturally. But he's never had a problem with that.
Wow.
Excellent. Any problems when you were in Mexico with him, taking him places?
No, Mexico seems to just really love animals and dogs, especially. I never had a problem. He sat at the white cloth tables and everything, or outdoors, or he had to be leashed. So I get that,
Right.
and they didn't really. Well, actually, they didn't say anything about him tinkling on the trees or whatnot, but he's paper trained, so he actually prefers to go on his paper, which is very funny.
That's
incredible. Now, please talk about cruising, because that is just, you really have cracked the code on that one. So yes. Please take us through that process.
So my very first cruise, my high school friends we had been talking about going to Alaska for so long, and with COVID happening, nothing was happening. So our trip got putting off. So finally, after 4 years of waiting to get on this ship, it finally happened last year in July. And we flew, Puccini and I, we came from all different directions in the States, but we all flew to Vancouver.
Okay.
And by flying into Vancouver, then you get to go higher up in Alaska and just see the so-called better glaciers. I think one glacier is as beautiful as the next, but they said
you've seen one glacier, you've seen them all.
Yeah, right, exactly. Anyway, so by flying into Vancouver, it was technically, we were flying out of the country. So we had to really do major paperwork for that and the COVID tests. And we had to meet with a nurse on Zoom. They had to watch us do our COVID tests. And it was...
You and Puccini had to have COVID tests?
He didn't have to have a COVID test, but
just
they did want to see him, which was funny.
Okay, so they checked him out on Zoom before you even took off.
Yes. And to fly into Vancouver, it's like flying into England, basically. You had to do quite a bit of paperwork, and you had to do a USDA, you had to be seen by a USDA accredited veterinarian. And mine is one. Not all vets are USDA accredited.
That's important. I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but I want you to highlight that point. So your international travel, folks, your veterinarian needs to be USDA accredited. Right. Correct? I'm wrong. Yes. Okay. So you have to get the stamp of approval from your vet who is also USDA accredited. Okay. Right. All right. Please continue. That's good. That's a good nugget right there.
Yes. And the crazy part is you have a 10-day window. So she or he, your vet, will send in this paperwork to the United States Department or the country that you're entering. And then it has to be all done within 10 days of you leaving. So it's pretty stressful, I have to say.
Right. Right.
And
Because
this
you
is
can't
on the screen.
overlap the window. You have to maintain that 10-day window.
Right.
Okay.
So actually, this is the letter that Basi's showing right now on the screen.
Yes.
And as you see, I had to cross out everything, so my information wasn't on there. But you have to have your microchip, you know, and Puccini has an international microchip. There's 2 different kinds. So, you know,
Woo!
There was
there's
a little more, maybe a little bit about the microchips, especially the international ones, because maybe some people don't
Yeah,
know.
that's incredible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Wow.
I was speaking with Lisa, my other comrade who likes to travel today, and we were talking about that microchip. It's so important. I know some people that were planning on going to France this year were having problems with that because they didn't have the correct microchip. And they usually put it right behind their little neck.
Right. Right. So if
then-
your fur baby is microchipped already, like so many of us are,
Yes.
we got microchipped in New York or in whatever state we live in. But of course, we go to Italy or we go to France or we go to Morocco. We that microchip that says, you know, we came from ARF or, you know, a local rescue, True and Faithful or Yorkie 911 isn't exactly going to cut the mustard.
Right.
As her baby is in the south of France, lost in the woods somewhere.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I think that it's
They
important.
use a scanner like they use in the grocery store for people that don't really understand what that is exactly. And what it does when they beep the code back there, it shows them the number, who you're registered with, and then the phone number that it's attached to, which is my cell phone, which is great, and where you're located.
That's wonderful. For those that are just hopping on, we are talking international travel with your fur baby, with Leslie and Puccini. Leslie has gone to Mexico with Puccini. She has gone on more than one cruise with Puccini. So she is sharing with us the hacks and the tricks of the trade that she has picked up. If anyone has any questions at all, don't hesitate to comment below and we will answer them in real time, because this is really timely information. This is part 1 of a 2-part series that we are going to be doing. We're going to pick this up again next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. But this is really good, Leslie. So the cruise was how, and how did he, any problems on the cruise? I guess I should ask the same question as Mexico.
Oh, cute. That's some of my high school friends.
There you go. Love it.
That was fun. And let's see.
No problems.
He's like a little traveler. I mean, you've known him all of his life, Jennifer.
Yes.
You know, he'll walk right with you anywhere. That was our cabin on the cruise in Alaska.
Love
and
it.
We had a little balcony. That was the top of the ship on our Bermuda cruise.
Wow.
It's great. I think that also I would like to mention to people, since I experienced it last year, that before you travel, friends, make sure that you check each country requirements about your passport as well. Because like what happened was that my daughter's passport still was active, but Europe required to be active for 6 months. So we had to go back and do emergency passport. So I think that, you know, a lot of people may say, oh, I don't need to check it out. It's active, but don't get strict, friends. Just check it out, you know, in addition to for babies requirements, but don't forget about yourself too. And I do have a question regarding the food. I think that even if this is one, but you know, do you bring his food? Does he eat human food? Are you concerned about the spices they may use? Let's touch a little bit more on food, if you
Okay.
Absolutely.
Actually, you just passed a picture and he was at the health spa with me, that was one of the girls from the health spa there, and they just loved him there. And that's one thing about the the cruise, you have to take them with you everywhere, which I was laughing because I said, well, who wouldn't want to take him everywhere? You know, so they don't want you to leave your dog in the cabins.
Understandable.
Idea and
Right.
great point
Of course.
to
But
mention.
anyway, with the food, since I cook for Puccini in the morning and then I give him kangaroo in the evening, I just brought him canned food only.
Okay.
So usually in the mornings he would have his canned food, and then, you know, once he started going to dinner with us and things, he was expecting to have steak and chicken and everything else that all my meat eating friends would give him, which was kind of funny, you know. And he doesn't have a problem with his stomach or anything. But it was the funniest thing. There was two women that were in the table next to us on one of our first dinners, and they were having steak. And they said to me, "Do you mind if I give him steak?" Well, he was already ready to jump over on their table anyway, you know. And I'm like, no, he will think he's died and gone to heaven if you give him steak, because mommy doesn't eat meat. So
Yes,
Oh my gosh,
was
that's
fun.
amazing. That's amazing. And also a lot of people, they probably know, I mean, they love their food. They also have this dry food, which of course, if you know that you're traveling, you need time to make sure you transition your fur babies, make sure ingredients, everything else is compatible with your fur baby. But just as a thought, if you know, the dry food is very convenient because you get back, you go there, you add water, you wait it, and it's organic, some of them. So just a thought, but you know, thank you so much. It's important.
Actually, I'm going to touch on that for just a little bit, because I know the patties. I'm not going to say the specific names of any brands or whatnot, but I know some of them use synthetic vitamins. They're not real vitamins. And I called them and actually asked the company, and they said, yes, we use synthetic vitamins, not the real vitamins. So, you know, Puccini is so spoiled. I have made his food since the beginning of time, and even my veterinarian gives out my recipe to people, to some of her patients. And at night I give him, you know, as I said, the kangaroo or salmon, wild salmon or something like that. So just be careful, read all your ingredients, make sure everything is USA made. And if you don't understand something, ask. You know, ask the company. They have to be open with you.
You have to be. And I can tell you, I do agree with you. And we transition our own doggy. Well, until we find the right one with organic ingredients, it took us forever and ever.
Yes.
So I do agree with you. And go to a pet store, you trust them.
That's right.
Ask the question, you know, they have little samples, slowly but surely. And again, today it's about traveling, but I think some people might be concerned since they are gone for 10, 14 days. You know, this is an important question to, you know, to talk about, because each country has different, typical food, and they use of spices. So if you give your pet, may not be used to the spice, and that's the last thing you want to happen while you're on the trip.
Right? I mean, usually when we all go out, all my doggy friends, we always ask them to make a little chicken breast without spices and oils, maybe with a little olive oil, and they're always accommodating.
That's a great.
So that's great.
That's great. So what else would you like to share with us about
so I have to tell you something funny.
Yes.
So I'm lucky because I live right here in Manhattan, and when we boarded the ship, it was within walking distance of my apartment. So it was really nice and convenient for me to just walk over to the piers and hop on the boat. But my vet and I had been working on this USDA paper, and I went on Norwegian Cruise Line, and I had all the paperwork in for Norwegian. They had accepted Puccini. They know him from Alaska. They're like, oh, welcome again. We're so happy you had a good time the first time. Glad you're coming back, and all that good stuff. Well, I was waiting on Bermuda to send me the last paper from their department, And it did not come in until 2 hours before I boarded the flight.
Oh
So
my
all of
gosh.
us, we were sweating bullets. We didn't know if I was going to be able to get off the ship or not, because if I didn't have that paper, I would have to stay on the ship. So we get on the ship, the paperwork comes in, I'm celebrating, all the girls are celebrating. It was a happy day. And we get to Bermuda. It was a day and a half, I think, to get over there. And me and the girls were sitting at breakfast. We had gotten up early because it was going to be departing that day to Bermuda at 9 a.m. or something like that. Well, all of a sudden, I'm at breakfast with Puccini, and one of the shipmates, he comes and gets me at breakfast and says, "Leslie, I'm really sorry, but customs wants to see you and Puccini." They stopped the whole ship for me.
Oh my
They
Wow.
took me and Puccini off the ship, down the gangplank, into customs at Bermuda. Yeah, that would be me
Is that
right
you in
there.
jail? Is that you in the Bermuda?
That would be
Bermuda
me
jail?
if I didn't have the paperwork. So
wow.
it was so scary. I get into the customs office, and they're all serious and you can't take pictures. And actually, one of the girls from Norwegian that was with me was taking pictures, and the customs guy got really mad at her. She should have known. Here's some pictures from Bermuda. It's so beautiful there. Anyway, so I had to stand like 10 feet from him. I couldn't come up to him until he summoned me. And I mean, it was kind of scary, actually.
Very, very scary.
And then,
Amazing.
but I
Amazing.
had every single thing in a folder. I can't stress to you how important it is to have everything organized. So all I had to do was just open the folder, and he was like, "Oh, nice." He actually said that, as stern as he was. He was like, "Oh, nice."
Well,
So-
it's ironic. We have people from all over. Amy Cox in Texas is watching. Jamie Ann is on her
Hi,
Alaskan
everyone.
cruise. She's watching right now. Hey, Ruben. Hey,
Oh,
everyone.
I'm so
people
happy
are
that Jamie's on her
globally-
Alaskan cruise.
Yes, globally
Yeah.
watching. So
Yeah,
hello, ladies and
amazing.
gentlemen. We're talking this is the first of a two-part series we're doing on international travel with your fur baby. It's timely. It's a very timely topic right now. So fresh off the Pause in the City runway, Puccini is chatting about his experiences in Mexico, Alaska, Bermuda. Absolutely incredible. So Leslie, would you plan another trip with Puccini?
Yes, I've got Italy in the works,
Oh,
Wow.
Costa
woohoo.
Rica, and
Oh
Ada's talking about Puerto Rico. And so there's some good stuff out there that I hope is going to happen. That's some of the yummy food that you're seeing on the.
Incredible. Incredible. Puccini's got many stamps in his passport. Many stamps in his passport. I love it. Absolutely incredible.
It's so amazing to travel with you. And like, I think it's so valuable, the fact that you taught us and gave us a lot of insights for people how to travel. And, it's important. I was telling Jenna earlier that most of my clients and people are traveling. I think the official season is on from today, or maybe from last week before Memorial Day. And it's just like, friends, be kind of open-minded, before you want to travel, make sure check the countries and everything else. And are there any other tips or anything else you would like to share with people about traveling?
I think Jan Ben's going to come on next Tuesday, correct?
Yes, she's next Tuesday, yes.
Okay, good. Because I'm so proud of Jan, what she's doing. She's getting Himalaya, her baby, all trained. And she's got a really good trainer down in Florida that she's been working with. So they're going into hotels. They're going onto the tarmac on airports, because some of them, you don't get off right at the airport. Some of them you have to get off the plane, you know, walk to the bus, get on the bus. So her baby's learning all that good stuff. So she's going to be a great little traveler when Jan's done with her and this new trainer.
Yes, it's very
Yes,
good.
shameless plug. Imalaya and Jan are already registered for November's Pause in the City. So absolutely
Yes.
we'll have to fly from Morocco to Spartanburg, South Carolina.
I'm already working on Jan to try to get us all to Morocco.
There you
Oh
go.
my gosh, that would be amazing, to be honest with you. That's kind of on my list, on my bucket list where I want to go one day.
We need a catwalk and pet pics goes to Morocco trip.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So very good point. You stressed, Leslie, the training, and I think that that's important. Is your fur baby not barking? Is your fur baby using his body in the right location?
Jennifer, I can't stress to you how hard it is for all of us who have trained our babies and worked hard on getting that done. And then some of the people that don't have them trained and their dogs bark. I had an incident recently where I was talking to the flight attendant and all of a sudden someone else's dog barked and she goes, that dog is not trained. You know, she just said it right out. And I mean, I didn't know what to say, but no, it's not good. I mean, Puccini, he does commands. I've taught him sign language. So I do this and he sits, I do this and he goes down. You know, he does all kinds of things without me even speaking. So if we're in a location where you can't speak or it's quiet, he had to go to all the shows with me on the boat, which was fun.
Amazing. Wow.
Yes.
Amazing. And I
think excellent info. Thank you, Leslie and Master P. Thank you, Puccini, for being so accommodating during your dinner hour. My apologies. I will let you resume eating. Excellent, Leslie. Thank you for sharing. These are some good hacks.
One last bite for Jennifer and Bessie. Yes.
We love you. Can you tell people where they can find you on social media? Because you have a great Instagram. You're very active. I think that not only is today's episode was very inspirational and educational, but overall, like everything what you share, it's like super cool. I love social media in a great way.
Thank you. So on Instagram, that's probably the best place to get me. Everybody's on Instagram now. It's Leslie, which is my nickname from Dancing with the Rockettes a million years ago. Instead of Leslie, it's Leslie, Legzlie .Puccini, and it's spelled the Italian way, Puccini. And that's it. It's easy.
It is very easy. And I'm actually going even here to show it to people. So they can, friends, you can take a quick screenshot and go and say hi to Leslie. Here it is. I remember the first time when you were telling me. But look at this. I mean, you have a fantastic Instagram,
Look at all those pictures.
Look at all those beautiful pictures from Catwalk, baby.
Yes.
All those cool outfits. All those cute little outfits. Yes.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you again very much for coming today on the show. It's really like I was telling Jen, I'm like, I want to start traveling. I was like so looking forward to this episode to learn more. And I would encourage friends, don't be afraid. Of course, every fur baby is different. Some have the personality to travel and the training, some don't, but just, have hope, have faith, and just, make sure that you pick the right destination and just, have fun, create memories. That's all about create beautiful memories with your fur babies.
And if anybody has any questions, just DM me.
Love it. Love it. Thank you very much. A lot of kisses and hugs. Thank you, Jen, as well.
See you next Tuesday.
Yes. See you soon. Bye.